that brave moment of actually posting your stuff and thinking, oh my God, they're going to think the fifth grader did it. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. And then the more I shared, the more I wanted to share. And then the more I noticed that people were like, wow, I like your style. Even though I don't feel like I've discovered my style yet, I'm learning. And then I was like, darn it, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. It took me a year. I think to finally make the first video. And that was like one of the bravest things.
I'm Tiffany Gilliland, your host of the Business Bravery podcast. I'm an Australian business and mindset coach and marketing service provider with 13 years of experience in online marketing. I help coaches sign clients and grow their business with more confidence and less stress using my Business Bravery framework. It's all about simple steps that actually work so you can build a profitable business that lights you up and feels sustainable. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to join me for Brave Coffee Connections, my free monthly Zoom gathering for coaches and service-based business owners. It's not another networking pitch fest. Instead, you'll connect through powerful questions, small group conversations, and a short visualization to set you up for the month ahead. These deeper connections often lead to collaborations, referrals, and even new clients. Find out more about this free monthly Zoom gathering at tiffanygstudios.com/connections. That's tiffanygstudios.com/connections. I'd love to see you there. Today I'm joined by Grace from The Serendipitous Crafter. Grace is an artist, creative educator, and founder of The Serendipitous Crafter, which is a business, YouTube channel, Instagram, the whole thing. Grace is a multi-passionate creative, a mum of two, a caregiver, and someone who's built her creative business alongside full-time work and family life. She started her business with one simple idea: creating an ebook to help beginners try junk journaling, and that small step grew into a YouTube channel, monthly crafting meetups, workshops, and a creative community. Her work is all about using creativity as self-care, letting go of perfectionism, and allowing art to be a safe space to slow down, reflect, and just be human. In this episode, we talk about building a creative business one brave step at a time, releasing perfectionism, and why creativity can be such a powerful tool for well-being. With that said, this is an amazing episode, and I can't wait to share with you Grace's stories of business bravery, past, present, and future. Now, who's ready for some business bravery inspiration? Let's dive in. Hello everybody. I am super excited to be here with my guest this week, the amazing Grace, which sounds cliched, but I always call everyone the amazing this. So this is Grace from The Serendipitous Crafter, and I am super excited to get into all things art, craft, and business related. Many of my passions and hobbies all in one, so I'm super excited. Grace, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your business and who you help.
Thank you so much for the invitation to the podcast. I'm excited and nervous, and I'm being brave for sure. This is like a definite big step for me. I work full time, like on a different job, an office job, and I'm a wife. I'm a mom of two boys, and I'm a caregiver to my amazing mom. And on top of it, I started a business. And it was like scary at first. And so it's all about junk journaling, and it's about journals, handmade. They're handmade, crafted, and from scratch. And sometimes they don't have to be from scratch, but I tend to gear towards from scratch and making it from nothing, really, from recycled materials. And I started it during the pandemic. I think we were only a month and a half in when it was all announced, and the anxiety, the worry, and just crept up. And I think it like crept up for everyone, right? It was an uncertain times, and we didn't know what was going to happen and that sort of thing. And I needed an outlet. And previously, like I've always been like creative and a crafter. I used to be a scrapbooker. I had all the things, I had all the supplies. I used to like dabble a bit in paint and custom framing and knitting, crocheting, like sewing. Like I've dabbled in a lot. And while it was they were little hobbies and my kids were young, I didn't really spend a lot of time in the craft room. And then during the pandemic, the teenagers, and so I had some time to myself. And I was just surfing YouTube and Facebook to find the new fix for me. And while I had all of that in my craft room, nothing was really inspiring to me. And maybe I was actually looking for community as well. And that's what I found. I found community, and I found junk journaling, which sparked something, because junk journaling is a combination of all those crafts I mentioned, much more, into one hobby. And
Mm.
it's a multitude of hobbies really into one. And it's where I was like, wow, this is super cool. I'm like, you can make something out of nothing. It was just with stuff at home, and I didn't have to go out anywhere. We couldn't go out anywhere. And I had a craft room full of supplies that I can use. And but it took me 6 months to actually create my first journal.
Mm.
And because I was intimidated, even though it wasn't like junk journaling is very flexible, it's not supposed to be intimidating. But when you're a crafter, you're like, I don't want my stuff to look like a 5-year-old made it.
Yeah.
Right. I think we all think about that. And it's even when we're even an artist who paints and they don't want it to look like a 5-year-old did it, right? But so it was a little intimidating by what I saw online, because then I joined Facebook groups, and then I was on YouTube, and I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And yeah, there is a lot on junk journaling on YouTube, and different styles and different things you can do with them. So there's a lot of creators out there. I discovered a whole new world. And but what I didn't see was, okay, I'll save this video. It gives me a little bit of what I want to do. And okay. And then I'd see another video and I'd be inspired. Okay, I want a bit of this and a bit of that. So I was jumping from channel to channel. And then I'd like, okay, where do I start? Because it just didn't connect for me. And I'm like, I can't be the only one that feels doesn't know where to start and intimidated by it all. And now I forget where I have these saved videos. Now I got to rewatch them all. And so that's where I came up with writing an ebook. And the ebook that I wrote is like a basic journal that you can create with supplies that you have around the house and from recycled materials. If you don't want to use scrapbook paper, you don't need to use scrapbook paper. You can use like newspaper if you want. You can use regular paper. You can dye paper to make it look vintage. You can use vintage stuff if you want. You can use all sorts of stuff to make this journal. And that's what I wrote about. It took me 2 years to write, mind you, I'm doing this like on the side of my on the side of my life, basically, with all the other responsibilities and that sort of thing. And it was after, I think, maybe a year or two after the pandemic, right? So the first year was like discovering junk journaling and actually making it and stuff. And then that's when I discovered, okay, I want to write an ebook because I want to
Mm.
share with the world, one, my story and how
Yeah.
it helped my mental health. Like it became my outlet, and I could come down here and just forget what was going on in the world for a short period of time and relieve the stress, relieve the worry, because we all need that. And art tends to do that. And it doesn't matter what type of art you practice, it doesn't have to be junk journaling. It could be painting, it could be knitting. Like it's very, you get in a zone. I
Yeah.
call it the creative zone where you just check out. And
Mm.
it's a vacation for your brain. And I often say I went on a vacation is I spent a day in my craft room without any other
Mm.
responsibilities but myself, and it
Yeah.
feels like I rested. And that was my outlet. And so I wrote the ebook because I wanted to share that story, and I wanted to make it easy for people just to start. So
Yeah.
my book is called Jumpstart to Junk Journaling. I don't even, it's a long name. Just jumpstart to your junk journal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have to take it out. But, and it's 70 pages long. And I go through my story and I go through what a junk journal is, but I also what its purpose is and how you can use it, because you can use it as an art journal, you can use it as a writing journal for memory keeping. Mine right now are more memory keeping purposes, like I put pictures in it and I put memorabilia of what I collect, because I on a daily basis I collect things less now because my kids don't bring home stuff as much as they did when they were younger, but I have all of that stuff. So I have plenty to go from, and so that's the type I do more of. And so it all explains that in, excuse me,
Mm.
in my ebook. And there's also about 20 pages of just pages, random stuff that you can get started with. And it's an ebook, so you can print it as often as you
Yeah.
to start using it. And then there's a section of the book that's step-by-step instructions on create and written instructions, because
Yeah.
sometimes sure the videos are great, but you gotta pause and fast forward, rewind, and sometimes when it's written out and you got pictures, depends on the person and how they learn.
Yeah.
And along with the ebook, I also have 30 days plus prompting kind of questions to help you get started in filling out your journal. So if you don't know, if you don't really have a purpose for it, or it's easier to create the purpose if you have
Mm.
a purpose in mind, but if you don't, then you have prompting questions that you can use to journal about. And so that's included when by purchasing the ebook. And plus now I've also included a 1 hour kind of one-on-one session with me because I found that after you got the ebook, and sometimes you might have questions, right? You might have
Yeah.
like stuff that brings up that you want to try to, that maybe you had a hard time and you didn't quite understand maybe what I meant in the book or whatever, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, and that's how my business journey started was with that. And the first brave thing I did was actually publishing,
The
like
ebook.
actually hitting the button and making it live was
Yeah.
like, it was huge. And
Yeah.
it was huge to finish it, but I was still hidden from the world.
Yeah.
I didn't At that
Mm.
time I still didn't have my YouTube channel. I was just trying to finish the ebook. And like I said, it took 2 years in the making.
Did you
And
have a
then when
business in mind when you, or was it just, I want to share my story, I want to put it in an ebook, or were you thinking, oh, this will be a junk journaling business, like at that time?
at that time, my purpose was to write an ebook and
Yeah.
let it sit there and let it sell it on its own. That's I was so naive about it, right? It was like they will you build it,
Yeah.
they will come. No,
Oh, a bit.
no, like you have to make them come. And so when the book was created, because my one of my lifelong dreams, ever since I could remember, it was in my early 20s, I wanted to write a book, but
Mm.
I didn't know about what. And
Yeah.
so 30 years later, it finally came to me, or it finally presented
Yeah.
itself right about this. And I was like, that's going to be my book. It's going to be about this. And
Mm.
no way did I know that like 30 years ago it was going to be about junk journaling. I never even heard of it. Junk journaling is actually not a new thing. It's just coming back. It's surfacing again. Like
Yeah.
it's like fashion. Like you go through certain, yeah, it's like
Mm.
fashion. So it's
Yeah.
coming back and it's coming back in like huge, in a huge way as well. And so yeah, the I didn't really have my only thing was like, okay, I'll create a business name because now I got an ebook, so I got to make all legit and get my the finances for that and make sure it goes through. So yeah, I created the Serendipitous Crafter name and that sort of thing. It was only when I pressed the button on it and I said, eh, maybe I should do something further with it. And I'd watch the YouTube and maybe I want to start share. And that's the thing. Once you get to a point where you're creating journals and you're seeing like people post online their pictures of their spreads, and I would do that. And then there's that brave moment of actually posting your stuff and thinking, oh my God, they're going to think this is like a fifth grader did it, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. And then the more I shared, the more I wanted to share. And and then the more I noticed that people were like, wow, I like your style. I like your, even though I don't feel like I've discovered my style yet, I'm learning. And it takes a while to see where
Yeah.
that comes
Yeah.
about. And yeah,
Mm.
so it just, it was like naturally the
Yeah.
serendipitous crafter. And then I was like, darn it, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. It took me a
Oof.
year, I think, to finally do the video, make the first video. And that
Mm.
was like one of the bravest things I think. Like there's so many brave moments. Oh my God, so many stressful moments. And
Yeah.
and it was like, oh my God, what if this? I don't know how to do a video, and and I have a business friend, Joan, and we just kept each other like motivated, and you can do it. I was like, even if you read a script, nobody's gonna know you're reading a script, and you can totally know somebody's reading a script. Because now, and
Mm.
so I finally posted my first video at Christmas time, and it was a flip through of a journal I did, and it was perfectly imperfect, and it was the perfectionist thing. And junk journaling sometimes, and even scrapbooking, it has to be perfect. You have this vision in your mind, and you want it to be perfect. You want it to be, but nothing's perfect. And I like to say I'm a recovering perfectionist because
Yeah.
I do have that
Me
in
too.
me.
Yeah.
And I think everybody has a bit of it in them. And it's overcoming that fear of I don't know what, it's not perfect. Like who is perfect? And
Mm,
so the YouTube went out
yeah.
perfectly imperfect. And now like a while back I went to go listen to my first video because I scripted it. I wrote every single word down that I needed
Yeah.
to say
Hey,
because I'm like,
we're gonna start somewhere.
and you know what? If it was the only way I was going to get this thing out, it would have been
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And you can hear I'm reading, like you can actually hear how like your
Yeah.
voice tone and stuff. And but that was the only one I did scripted. After
Okay.
that, I started, okay, I'm just gonna go for it and
Yeah.
whatever. It's my it's authentic. And I don't want to come across everything comes naturally to me and everything is perfect and everything like that because it's not. And
Yeah.
and everything is it was the same thing with the ebook. It took 2 years because I was being a perfectionist about it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I just a little bit more editing, just a little. I got to read through it one more time, and then I just finally decided. I gave myself a deadline for it, and I said, no, by this it was by my 50th birthday, I'd get my
Yeah.
ebook out, and
Mm,
that's when I decided. Like that
nice.
was my hard line. Same thing
Yeah.
with the YouTube channel. I was like, that's it. Come Christmas, it's going to be
Yeah.
posted. Yeah. So yeah. So I don't like
Sounds like a lot of these brave moves happen around Christmas time. Is that on like your holiday break time? And it's like, okay,
like
I've got this mental space,
isn't it like the
handle this.
worst time? Isn't like the worst time is like the last quarter of the year where my birthday's in September and then after Halloween
Yeah.
and it has so happened my first journal was a Halloween journal. Like
Yeah.
now that you mention that, it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
like in the last quarter or in the first beginning of the year quarter is my busiest. I think I get my momentum and it's the busiest time for me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I
Well, I
need
mean,
more.
I've always had that dream of having, oh, like that last quarter. Sorry, you guys call it the last quarter before December or whatever, to just be like my creative time. It ends up being December and January here because it's summer over here. But yeah, just,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that makes sense. There's ebbs and flows, there's phases. Even in a business, I don't think you can expect yourself to be on and working 100% the whole way through. We're not robots and machines. So it definitely makes sense that
No, we're not.
the creativity
Yeah.
comes in those ebbs and flows. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Quick break to tell you about Brave Coffee Connections, my free monthly Zoom for coaches and service based business owners. In just 60 minutes, you'll reflect on brave questions, connect in small groups, and finish with a visualization to set you up for success. It's not networking as usual, no awkward pitches, just real conversations that often lead to collaborations, referrals, and clients. Grab your free spot now at tiffanygstudios.com/connections. That's TIFFANYG for golf, studios.com/connections. I can't wait to see you there. So you've told me many things. I guess I just want to make it clear for anybody who's like trying to visualize exactly what a junk journal is. Like
Hmm.
it's like a book, but you can make the pages yourself, and it can be messy and fun. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's
Do
not
you want me to show you a
scrapbooking.
sample?
Sorry.
I said,
Say
do you
again.
want me to show you a sample?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I was gonna grab some stuff like off your YouTube or whatever and like edit it in or something, but yeah.
Yeah, that's just
Mm,
it. You can, and I'm into like different things at different times, and I'll explain that.
mm,
And this is my first one, was my Halloween
yeah.
journal.
Yeah.
And I didn't go for the easiest thing. Like
Mm,
this is not like beginner level. And even though I never had done it, but I tend to, I think I tend to like, maybe it's I overcomplicate or I want to make it more, I
yeah.
wanted it perfect. So I wanted to document all like my kids' Halloweens. So it's all
Mm,
the Halloweens of their childhood up until like now. And they're getting
nice.
older. One's 19, the other one's 15.
Mm,
And so this was my first one. And I used, it's a cover from I don't even know what cover this was. It was cover from a book, and I gutted the papers from it. So we like to
mm.
do that. We like to take books and completely disassemble them.
That
And
always hurts me a little.
just and I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader of books, but I like to write. I like to write, and so I like to write any book. And I also like to take them apart. But I try to take apart the older ones that need new life
Yeah.
and already coming apart and that would be going to the trash if I
Yeah.
otherwise wouldn't. take them. Like at thrift stores and antique stores, sometimes you pick up these books and their spines are like ripped, and there's really they don't stay together if you're gonna use them
Mm.
to read it. And I take it apart and I
Mm.
use all the contents. Like I can take all the insides out, and those are precious material to make stuff for your journal.
Mm.
They make great pockets. They make great background pages, like masterboards and all sorts of stuff. And so this one's primarily things might fall out of the pages. So you'll notice I have like strings sticking out because this is it's a sewed in
Mm.
version. So I
Yeah.
sewed in the signatures and I
Mm.
alternated black and beige. And
Yeah.
and then the cover I basically painted it purple and black,
Mm.
and I just glued some those actually wooden letters, and I did a
Yeah.
little bit of stamping on the back. Like I
Yeah.
just and that's a
Mm.
sticker. And so when you open it up, this is the entry page, and that this is a decoupaged napkin on the
Yeah.
inside cover, and I just made a little flip, and this is just introducing like what it is
Mm.
and how long Halloween through the years. This journal was made for Joseph and Luca and from Mama, and started on September 2020. And at the time, they were 14 years old and 10 years old. So it's already
Wow.
been a few years. And so I literally, because I didn't scrapbook any other Halloween.
Yeah.
And so I went back to the pictures because I have all the pictures. And I
Mm.
went back and I
Yeah.
documented slowly every year on Halloween. I go back and I document I'm catching up basically.
Yeah.
And so the pages are like, I kept their Halloween coloring pages and I used them in here.
Yeah.
And this is like a little flip out.
Yeah.
And so these are their coloring pages when they were younger, and I kept them all. And lo and behold, I didn't think I was going to use them, but I am using them as well. I dyed paint like just regular copy paper. I dyed it, coffee dyed it, and it gives a nice vintage look. I use like Halloween bags that to put treats
Yeah.
in. Well, I just take it apart and I use it as a page. And this is like a little flip up. So
Yeah.
there's more pictures and a little bit of
Mm.
journaling. I'm not a big like paragraph writing type of thing because I find that takes a lot of time, but I do it more through art and pictures. And these are called tags. And I came up with when it's on backwards, it's candy stash. So every year I would take a picture of their candy stash. And so I have a tag for every year with the candy stash on it. And you paperclip thing. And it's just the costumes they wore, what we did throughout the month. And so it's just this is scrapbook paper that I'm using once again. I got plenty of it.
Mm.
And here's a book page. So this was part of the book itself, and
Mm.
I used it for as a little insert. I did some stamping. There's some blank pages still because I'm not all caught up. And then we
Yeah.
got pockets throughout just to stuff
Mm.
in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, like my scrapbook paper is right here. And and so I got quite a bit of stuff catching up to. I think I'm up to 2017 in it. And then at the back, you can put pockets, and that was more just to cover so you cover it the way you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is much more of I'd say, an advanced type of journal. It's not your basic type.
Yeah.
And I would show you the one from the ebook. It's, I didn't even think about showing it. I think
No,
it's up
that's
there.
okay. A lot of people might just be listening on audio only, so yeah,
Oh,
just going through
yeah.
them is probably good.
So yeah, so that's what they
Yeah.
look like. They
Mm. Yeah.
they can be anything you want them to be.
Yeah.
Like your limit is your imagination, right?
Yeah.
It's that, and I like to help people bring that out and
Mm.
being able to, even if you're not I encounter a lot of people that are actually don't use them for anything. They just like making them.
Yeah.
And for me, I work better with a theme
Mm.
and with a purpose in mind. But I follow a couple of YouTubers that do monthly challenges,
Mm.
and they open, they attach rules to it, which Junk Journey doesn't have any rules.
Mm.
But she likes to do these monthly challenges where you follow along, and she has like requirements. And she puts the requirements in is to open your mind to making different new things that you
Yeah.
wouldn't otherwise do. And I've done a couple of those, and they are probably the I've completed two because it's a month to complete a journal. And for me, it takes me, if I'm nonstop at it and with my free time, it could take me a good month and a half for me to complete a journal. Like
Yeah.
it takes long to put them together, and when you don't have hours on end to actually work on them, right? It does take time. And so these challenges, you have to do it in a month. And at the end of the month, you get one of our free digitals and printables that you can use in junk journals. And they are really the ones that challenged me and have a lot of bits to them that I otherwise wouldn't make. I tend to make my bits like the tags and the inserts and all that after the fact. As I'm documenting, I'll create. Whereas you create your journal and then she's telling, okay, you need to create 5 tags with a job. And five
Mm.
tags with a job is a tag that has maybe, it looks like a tag shape and then you turn it around and it has a pocket. So it has a job, it's a pocket. Or it
Mm.
can be a little, you open it up and it's a little booklet for journaling space. So that sort of thing. That one's full of potential, like full of all sorts of ideas of what you can create and put them in your
Mm.
journal, right? So yeah, so I then it grew to be and I wanted to grow my channel. That's one of my main goals is to grow my channel. And so I participate in a lot of collaborations, and the community is so close knit and so generous and kind. And the bigger creators tend to do these challenges and to participate in. And so they invite other YouTubers to create videos for them. And to be part of Christmas time is a big, I think I was part of 5 collaborations, and it was like to create a video using their kit, their digital kit, because that's a whole other piece,
Mm.
right? There's the recycling and using only recycled materials to do junk journaling, but there's also that other side where people create kits to make
Mm.
curated journals that have a certain aesthetic to them, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's a Halloween kit or a Christmas kit in different styles and that sort of thing. And so I participate in those, and those help been helping my channel and been helping to get my name out there and that sort of thing, and actually inspiring me to also create digital kits
Mm.
and to help people who don't have access to, because we talk a lot about vintage and a lot about old papers and old books and stuff, but not everybody has access to those sort of things.
Yeah.
And when you create a digital, you're giving access to those people to use like an old postcard that's post dated like 1900 or something like that, and using that postcard in their journal where they couldn't find that in an everyday store or in a thrift store. And I don't know if I mentioned I'm Canadian, so I'm from Canada. And so up here, I find like we have antique shops and thrift stores, but you really got to frequent them to see if you can dig up some great finds. And I have found some great
Mm.
things, but to actually use them in the journaling process, you're like, but I don't want to hurt like 100-year-old thing that's lasted all
Yeah.
these years, and then all of a sudden I'm going to use it. And so when we digitize it, we can at least use the digital version and still keep the original. So a lot of, and that's a little bit of the basis of digitals as well. So when I say you can have different styles of things, and this one didn't have any digitals in it.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, there maybe is one in here, but as I move forward, I see myself using them more often, and I do use recycled materials as the base, and depending on the theme I want to do, there's quite a few projects that and themes I'd like to do, but yeah,
So you mentioned perfectionism earlier. Do you have the perfectionism for the ebook and for the YouTube channel? Do you have that same kind of perfectionism when you're creating the junk journals, or like how do you work through that? For those
yeah.
of us who,
Once a perfectionist, it spans through
yeah,
everything. Like it
yeah,
doesn't stop at art,
mm,
and I saw myself doing that. It's like hesitating on, oh, should I use this piece or should I paint this color or should I add this page? Or it's innate.
yeah,
But sometimes it's just do it. I even adopted a trash journal,
mm,
and and I got that from a creator, Thrifty Day. And she goes, when you're stuck and you find, and for perfectionism to help you with that, for
yeah,
junk journaling, if you find yourself on, you're doing a spread and it's taking you over 2 hours to do it, which you can take, and that's okay if you want to take that time,
Mm,
perfectly okay. But if it takes like days and you're still on the same spread, maybe you should start with a trash journal where you literally take stuff, everyday stuff out of like junk mail that passes through, and just, oh, today this is going to be it. I'm going to just gonna stick
mm,
down anything and we'll say willy nilly into a notebook. And it's not even a fancy journal because we're afraid to ruin the page, but it's just paper.
mm.
You can redo it.
Yeah.
Like you could you can tear it out of the book. Like you can
Mm,
literally tear your page out of the book, or you can just cover it up. There's one thing I've learned is it's just paper and you can fix almost anything. I'd say anything. I haven't come across anything yet that you couldn't fix if
mm.
you
Yeah.
screwed up, right?
Yeah. And
And yeah,
there's that whole like Bob Ross thing, the happy accidents and all that
accidents,
kind of thing. You could just be like, that's not what I thought, but hey, we can go in this direction now. You know?
accident. Oh, for sure. I think it happens to all of us. And that's part of why I call myself the serendipitous crafter. It's whatever comes to mind and whatever moves
Mm,
me. And sometimes my videos, like I'll go for, I can't plan them out. Like it's hard to plan out what you're going to make, but you do. But then it changes along the way. And I have had a couple of times where I let the process run and it was like, that didn't end up how I was planning on it, but it turns out pretty good anyway. And it will. Like,
mm.
I think it
Yeah.
happens for a reason, right? It's your creative mind that's trying to say, well, go this way
Mm,
instead of what you planned, right? And
yeah.
I like the serendipity in that. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Actually, earlier when you said the trash journal concept, I thought it might be like a place to practice those ideas and be like, oh, how does it
Mhm.
look, or something like that,
Yeah.
and
But
kind of
sometimes
think, yeah,
it can be that. Like that's a great idea. It can be that too if you want to practice and you're trying out a new technique and you don't want to try it in one of your journals that's already been made and that sort of thing, and you just want to try it out. Sure, why not?
mm,
You can use
yeah,
it at that as a trash journal. The trash journal is more of letting your mind paste glue down things without thinking about it because it's
yeah,
trash. It actually might go to the recycling bit after you finish it,
yeah,
or it might not. But I found myself that the trash journal, I had memories connected to it. Like any
mm,
piece of thing that I pick up is because I got a memory connected to it. Like part of my trash journal, it started off like that. And I saw this like beaver on a
mm,
calendar and it reminded me, no, it was on a junk mail real estate thing. It had a beaver on it. And I was like, oh, this is a cute beaver. Cut it
mm,
up. But it reminds me of my husband. He goes up to the Arctic a lot. And beavers, they're not even up in the Arctic or polar bear, whatever it was. And so it's in my trash journal, but no, it's still a memory. It's not trash to me, but to somebody else, it's trash. But that one, I was able just to paste it. Like I
yeah.
wasn't like it, I was actually waiting for the perfect spread for that beaver.
Oh, I get
And that's
that.
the thing. You hold on
Yeah,
to the things because you're like, oh, that's going to be perfect for that. You got it in your mind already, the spread that's waiting for it, but it
yeah,
never comes. I think I held on for that like months before I'm like, I'm going to put it in the trash journal. And I
yeah.
did. And I love it where it is. It has a good
Nice.
spot,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
I,
It's the packaging from my son's birthday gift. I bought him a deck of special cards and it was a cool looking design. I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep that. Well, where
nice.
am I going to put that?
Yeah.
On his birthday spread? I don't know. And it's, I'll just put it in the trash room. So I started doing that practice, and it just felt like I was freeing a piece of me that was like, okay, I'm not going to hold on to all these things. I want to keep them. So I'm
Mm,
keeping them in this trash, quote unquote, trash journal, but I'm going to end up keeping it. I just know it. It
yeah.
doesn't have, there's no purpose in them, but they got a little attachment memory to them, right?
Yeah. No, I was
Yeah.
just thinking like that whole trash journal concept could be applied to like other like business stuff. Like when you're writing the ebook, like at the moment I'm supposed to be writing a book and all I've done is talk about it. And it's like maybe because I've often said like just create the horrible video, just create the horrible content. You got to get through that to get to the
Yeah.
real stuff. But there's that whole idea of okay, if I'm writing an ebook, what if I just start with the trash ebook? Do you know what I mean? And we can just get some stuff out and just
Isn't it?
practice writing
Yeah.
something like that. And the same with videos, right? You can just be like, hey, I'm just recording this to get this out of my mind or whatever. Maybe nobody will see it. I've definitely done plenty of videos like that too that nobody have seen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like you're doing a test run, and it's so true about writing a book. You're like, it's not going to be perfect the first time you write it. It's going to be
yeah,
garbage when, like, the first draft.
yeah,
It's just, if I look at my first draft and what it came out as, whoa, it's a big difference. But you got to
yeah,
get it out, and getting it out onto something, whether it's on the
yeah.
computer and you're writing it or on paper
Mm,
or whatever, gluing things down, you're getting it out. And it's like your
yeah,
first versions of stuff, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so you can't expect your first draft to be, and that's why I hesitated this long, like that long, 6 months before I created a
Mm,
junk journal. And I was watching videos like every day because we're in the pandemic and
yeah,
I needed my fix. But next step was actually doing it. you
yeah.
know, it was actually doing it. And yeah, it
Similar for
was,
business. I watched videos for years about business before I took concrete actions and things like that. I think it's
yeah,
kind of normal. Yeah. You know,
yeah, I think so.
yeah, you got to build
I
your
think it
bravery
needs,
muscle and get to that point where you're like, oh, a year's passed. We got to do
yeah,
this.
I like to call it the 3 seconds of courage. So
I
to do
like
a
that.
particular action, it just takes 3 seconds to press that publish
Published.
button online. It's just like literally 3 seconds to push it. You got it all set up. It's ready to
Yeah.
go. And all you got to do is hit publish on it.
Yeah.
Same thing creating reels and posts on Instagram because that was all new to me too. There's like the
Yeah.
bravery thing of actually posting something online about my ebook. Okay, it's released.
Now I'm gonna tell people.
Yeah, so there's a
Yeah.
lot of bravery things, and I like to. Ever since I met you, now
Mm.
I make all the connections. It's all about being brave. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it truly is, and yeah, and for me, it's connecting to mental health. And I'm no
Mm.
mental health expert. I just live it, and I know it made me feel better. And I'm
Mm.
like, I just want to share it with the world that it does make you feel better. So any
Mm.
form of art, and that's why I started the Craft Connection. And the Craft Connection is connecting all sorts of crafts. It's just not about junk journaling. It's about any craft that's open to and free for people to join once a month. And it's about if you do watercolor painting, if you do diamond art, if you do sketching, if you do junk journaling, you can bring any craft you do and setting aside a time, an hour once a
Yeah.
month and chatting with some so far just ladies of just everyday stuff. Maybe sometimes we talk about art, sometimes we talk about other things that are going on in our lives. And it's just a good time spent together. And it's part of it, it's community. I think it's twofold. Sometimes doing art alone is lonely, right? And
Yeah.
it's like in our scrapbooking days when they would hold workshops and 1 or 2 hours and you'd go to a little store or a little center and they'd have people would
Yeah.
commune together and scrap together. I never did it, but I heard about it.
Yeah.
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 So I never really, the scrapbooking never
Mm.
hit for me. And
Yeah.
I find there's a lot of comparison with the two. And I find that people automatically, was it scrapbooking? It's a little bit about it. I find junk journaling is more flexible
Mm.
and more freedom in it. And there's more freedom to use different mediums. And whereas scrapbooking, I feel that it's restrictive and it's all about looking perfect. And me, I would buy supplies and I would see the spread in my mind. It would
Yeah.
look perfect. And then trying to reiterate that spread was
Yeah.
like, it's not looking the way I want it. So, the
Yeah.
layouts are not right. And then you got to put it in this plastic sleeve, like putting it in a plastic sleeve, really? And then the 12 by 12 format, it's like huge. It's intimidating. And
Yeah.
like I've made the smallest journals, like little mini size things that are about like an inch to an inch and a half and I've made a big one about 9 by 10, but by choice, right? And
Yeah.
they're definitely more than an inch. I don't like thickness, the spine. And
Mm.
so when you look at a scrapbook, you're restricted to the number of pages in it,
Mm.
depending if you get the binder or not, or if it's like in a closed thing. And then you have these plastic things you're
Mm.
putting on it, and it's just plasticky. And junk journal is very texture. When you want to think about junk journaling, it's like the adult books of flips and flaps when you were younger and kids with the little opening open
Mm-hmm.
little doors and that sort of thing. They were interactive. And I love making interactive pages. If you're viewing this visually, you'll see I had flip flops and things that pull out. And I love making those. And scrapbooking, you can't really do those because you have to take the whole sheet. And who takes the whole sheet? Imagine you taking the whole sheet and the person's like, oh, take it out. You're going to expose it to acid free. And yeah, there's nothing about acid free in these journals, right? You're not, we just don't care about that. So that it's much more freedom to it. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So
So you, because I've known you for so long, and I go to the Craft Connection calls, and I particularly love those too because I don't have to be like I do craft to de-stress. Probably photography is where like my perfectionism comes in more, but like just normal craft stuff, like my craft is terrible, so I don't have to have great skills to come along, which I really appreciate, to be honest. It mine does look like a 5-year-old drew it, and I'm very proud of it, but it's more for de-stressing. But you also have a membership that you're working on that's like your next thing that's coming up, right?
yes, that's the
Great.
next brave step is the membership. And I don't have too much to go off from it, but I'm decided to do like a beta testing for it. And I want to try a trial run of 2 months, and it's pretty much an additional hour with me, but it'll be about junk journaling. It won't just be about the craft, like any type of craft, because I have that as a free thing anybody can join and that sort of thing. This one's more like introducing junk journaling and what can come up from it. I want to do more like Q&A, like something. You've bought my ebook, Tiffany, and it's like there's something holding you back. I can sense it. And it's I want to get a root to that. I don't want people to buy my ebook and not be able to do
Mm,
the purpose why they bought it. And so that's why if you have me for an hour a month for now, and we're there and we meet up and it's for junk journaling and we create as we're talking. There could be tutorials and so I want to test it out as what people might want to expect from it. A Q&A might be the introduction to how I want to start it, and it's going to be a work in progress. If I don't I figure if I don't just start it, I'll never will. It's a
yeah.
bit like it'll be perfectly imperfect the
Mm,
first few runs
yeah.
until I know what people want, because I don't want to just say, oh, this is what we're doing and this is what we're doing today and that's it. No, I want people to have some input and as to what it can be. And maybe the first one will be we're going to create something simple from scratch, and maybe it'll
Yeah.
take us the first 2 rounds, and while we're creating we can chat and we can and while we're creating in the moment, that's when your questions come up. That's when it's, oh, like how do we do this again, or all sorts of things. And then
Mm,
I want to see it develop into, okay, so now what? I finished one, what do I do with it? I want to do some journal spreads. I want to introduce, because there's all sorts of what we call ephemera, where we bring memorabilia into it, or we create pockets, we create the interactive pages I talk about. And those, how do you create those? And we can work on a particular one that month that's more intricate in design, and it's good to have that interaction together, to do it together, like more of a do it together, craft together
yeah.
session, and learning about junk journaling. And maybe it'll be a day where you see me do my own spread, right,
Mm,
my own creation, while doing yours on your side and sharing tips and little
mm,
tricks. I think just I'm going more as a natural way and see how it comes.
yeah.
But just to start, it's going to be rough in the beginning. It's training wheels,
It always
for
is.
sure.
Yeah.
But isn't everything we start with
Mm,
training wheels?
yeah.
But I want to grow a community where you can share, where it's going to be a safe place where you can share your spreads and share your things in the chat and be able to, because once you start with it, you want to share, you want to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
show and that sort of thing, because you become proud of what you, and I hope that's what people will be getting from it, is become proud of what they're making and feel
Mm,
good about it,
yeah.
and feel safe to a safe place to share it,
Mm,
and it's a place to connect. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. For me, I'm really keen on that community aspect for this stuff because, from my perspective, I mean, my first sort of creative community was in photography, and like seeing what the other students were creating, it just that helped give me like because there's that gap between what in your head and what the skills you had to
yeah,
create. And in the beginning, it's especially when it comes to hands-on craft. I don't know why you put me on Photoshop and I can create artworks like this one behind me, but I cannot
yeah,
draw that. I can't draw. I can the minute I'm holding a brush or anything, like I don't know how to create that and I can't explain how I can do it with pixels and draw on a screen, but I can't draw on paper. But yeah, like seeing what the other students create just helps because I mean, like your stuff that you create is amazing, but I'm nowhere near that. Whereas it's, oh, maybe there's other students who are just like a little bit ahead of me, and it's, oh, okay, cool. That feels like a nice small leap. And it's like,
yeah,
oh,
a nice small step. And we got to start somewhere, right? Like it's not like I'm still learning. I may be a few steps ahead, but I'm still learning from a lot of other creators and that sort of thing. And and I would like to bring that. Not everybody likes to watch YouTube and yeah, I just me, it's my entertainment now. I like watching other creators, but I like sharing what they inspire, right? They're an inspiration, and we get ideas off of each other all the time. And it's not we're copying because this stuff is regurgitated. There's nothing new that can possibly think of. If you think
yes,
of something, oh, I'll see if somebody already made one, and you already see that. Oh, okay, that's not original at all. But we have
yeah,
our own twist to it, our own spin to it, and our own style to it, right? Some are what we call shabby chic. It's more frilly. It's more like vintage laces and thing. And then you have steampunk, and steampunk
mm,
is like gears and dark colors and grunginess. And then you got eclectic, which I think I'm a bit more of a. I like the vintage. I like the sometimes the frilliness, but I like some of the bold colors, but not all the bold. Like I'm still discovering my style, and even
yeah,
though, and that's why I think starting with a theme helps because you can gravitate to the theme, and even Halloween, right? Halloween has different
yeah,
has your scary Halloween and that sort of thing, and then you got the cutesy Halloween. I'm like a little in between. I don't like anything scary, so I tend to get with the cutesy and stuff like that, and I go
yeah,
from there. Choosing a theme sometimes helps create ideas, and then all the ideas start like flowing
mm,
in, right? But if
yeah,
you don't try all the styles, then you don't know what you like. So that's why I've dabbled in quite a few different themes and different styles just to see what I like. And I tend to like all of them. There's a value to all of them, I find.
mm.
So, but
Wow. Okay,
yeah,
so thank you so much for everything you've shared with us. It's been really interesting to hear your brave moves and how your business came about. And it started with an ebook and then the YouTube channel. And now there's like a membership coming up, which is really exciting. And also there's the craft connection calls, which you already have, which is amazing. It's
yeah,
been great to hear your story and also about the junk journaling. Like, I love that intersection of art and business is like it's an art in itself, like it's a balance of art and logic. In the same way with all art too, there's some logic to it, but there's also that creativity. I love how that
yeah.
sort of
It's not. I love crafting, right? And I try to put as much emphasis on the crafting part in my business because that's what it's about. And then the business stuff, I tend to procrastinate. All the
yeah,
business like things I got to do behind the scenes, and I have to have my juice. I have to. That's why Christmas time was so busy. It was like, yeah, I need to promote my channel, but I need to create in order to promote it.
yeah,
Like it's mine is directly related
yeah.
to the craft. Yeah.
It,
I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about myself, which is a little rare. And
I love it. It's
yeah,
been amazing. I love hearing everybody's stories, and this one is particularly fun just because I've known you for years, and I know a lot of your story already, but then also it's just nice to hear it in this way and the business side of things and all that stuff too. It's been good.
yeah,
So, of course, there will be links to your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your ebook and all that stuff in the show notes and on my website. But for those people who are like me and are like, oh, I don't want to look at the show notes, I'm just going to go straight to wherever, where can people find you? Where's the best place for people to go?
I think the two best places really are Instagram and YouTube. And Instagram has all my links, right? So it has now, I just recently added my link for the sign up page for the Craft Connection in there. And yes, I finally did the little thing that takes 5 minutes to do to connect it because my link tree was already created. I already had my
Yeah.
YouTube channel on there. So you can Instagram, you can like see where all my stuff is. My Kofi page is connected there. YouTube is there, and the sign up page is there for the Craft Connection. So yeah, that's the best place. And DM me on Instagram is the best way to reach me one on one, and come watch my videos on YouTube, and just to get a little glimpse of what I've made. A lot of it's like I said, collaboration, so little projects that are put together, and others I've done flip throughs of my some of my journals that I've created along the way to give an idea of what it's made. And I actually have a flip through of the actual ebook, which I printed it on my own. And I did a flip through of the ebook. So you can actually see what's in the ebook before you purchase too. Yeah. So I'd say the best way to reach me would be Instagram because everything's connected in there. And it's easier to I think it's easier to find me there. But yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for everything you shared today. Are there any last words or if there's one thing people take away, what would you like people to know? I'm completely putting you on the spot here. Is there anything that
Yeah.
comes up? No.
I like a grand like takeaway. I don't know. What my takeaway is think about your self-care and your connection to yourself and to art and to a craft. Doesn't matter, like I said, doesn't matter the craft. But take that 1 hour of your time for yourself to reconnect and just to de-stress, or because I use it a lot for self-care and for my mental health. And that's the biggest takeaway is taking some time to do that for yourself. And whether it's to learn a new hobby or it's just to resurface an old hobby, I think it's a great thing.
Oh, I love that. That's so powerful. Thank you so much, Grace.
Oh,
This has
thank
been
you.
an amazing conversation.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thanks for listening today. If you're ready to grow through deeper connections, join me for Brave Coffee Connections. It's my free monthly Zoom call for coaches and service providers. No pitches, just real conversations that spark collaborations, referrals, and new clients. Plus, you'll leave with clarity, inspiration, and one brave action for the month ahead. Save your free spot at tiffanystudios.com/connections. That's TIFFANYG for golf, STUDIOS.com/connections. I can't wait to see you there.